The HiTechNomad here, and one of the things that I miss very much on my phone is the ability to emulate a remote control. Now, it's not that I want to just use my phone as my remote control for when I'm, sitting on the couch. It's that when I do travel, in order for me to pair with a television set, I can connect to it, but I usually have to hit enter or I have to hit one of the keys, and sometimes they give you an abbreviated remote control, so I can't do that. My wife says I like to, when we're down in, for example, Barbados, there's a bar across the street and they always have the soccer match on, and I like to change the channel. And obviously they don't have this out on the bar, but I can use my phone, or I used to be able to use my phone to do that. So I have a solution. It's not a perfect solution. Unfortunately, for those of us who have anything after, I guess, the Note 4, Note 5, this is the only solution that we have left to us. And that solution comes in the form of this, which is an infrared transmitter, which I'm going to give you the link to below. And it's basically just an infrared infrared LED that's got a little, I think it's got at least one little resistor on it, and it attaches to the audio jack. And then we're going to have a piece of software on the phone that's going to emulate a remote control, and basically it's going to send out pulses, and that's going to turn on and off this infrared blaster, and we're going to be back in business. So as I said, it's not a perfect solution, so that means I have to carry this around in my pocket, and it means I have to put it in when I'm using it. Now, this is the one that I've used. This one is fine. There is a smaller one, which is just about that big and fits in there very snugly, and you could actually leave it in there if you so chose. However, I can't find a reliable source for those. So if there's a link in the description for the smaller one, that means it's one that I've had, that I've checked out, I've approved, everything's fine and dandy. If not, keep subscribing, and as I find other ones that do match that, I will do it. This one's fairly common, and you can find this one. And as I said, I'll leave a link below. The smaller ones don't always work, so we'll go from there. All right, so what do we do? Well, the first thing we have to do is go and get the software. So let's go to the Google Play Store, and I guess there's a couple, but the one that we're going to use is Zaza, and we're going to go ahead and load that up. They do not have a paid version at this time, so they do have one with ads in it, unfortunately. However, again, we don't have a perfect solution. Again, that's why you want to subscribe. If I come up with new information, I add it to the comments for this particular video, and then you'll get it in your inbox, and it'll be me saying, hey, I found a better one. So let's take a look at, let's zoom in here. Where's the zoom button? Let's zoom in here a little bit, because the settings on the phone are pretty crucial to getting this to work. So let's go in. I don't know why it needs to know my location, but I've decided I will do that. I could block that if I wanted to, however, I don't really. Okay, so we're in. So the first thing you want to do is you need to tell it you're going to be using one of these, and it can't tell that this is plugged in, so it's not an automatic one. So you're going to need to tell it that you're using this manually, which is what we're going to do now. Now here's what I'm going to do, because I just want you to hear the sound that it makes. Instead of plugging in the infrared LED, which it doesn't know what it's doing anyways, I'm going to actually plug in my headphone jack, just so that when we do get it all set up, you'll be able to hear the sound. Again, it thinks it's sending out sound. It couldn't care less whether we have the LED in or the headphones. So what you want to do is you want to go into settings, and where it says IR driver setting, you got to turn automatically recognized off, because it's never going to figure out that it's there. You want to set it to Smart Zaza, okay? Then we want to go to advanced settings, and you want to make sure that you have on audio reversal. that needs to be on. Then Zaza Max Volume, you want that all the way up. You want to go to Zaza Sensitivity, you want to put that all the way up. And then you want to go to, there's one more, let's see, the transmission, the reversal, sensitivity, and the macro sending, change that, put that all the way up to 1,000. So there's a big gap in between. Okay. So now that we've done that, if we told it that we were going to add something, let's say like we'll just pick a 3M TV. I don't even know they made a 3M TV. And I'm going to put the headset. I'm going to put the headset right by the mic for a second, so you can hear the sound that comes through when I push the button. Okay. So what that's going to actually do is when we plug this in, it's going to send out enough of a sound, and you want to make sure, by the way, that your volume is all the way up. So go into your media settings, set it all the way up, because it's basically turning that sound energy into electrical energy. So we want to make sure that we're all set. Now here again, the setup is not the greatest, but it is all we have to work with. So I'm going to go with a Samsung TV. So I'm going to back that out. To where we were before. There is one other feature on Zaza remote control that we might want to turn on. And again, if we go in settings, you'll see where it says portrait. You can click on that and make it reverse portrait. And what that means is, because again, I'm going to put this in, for me, what is the bottom of the phone. So I would have to turn it around to use it, so it's kind of a pain. So Zaza Remote will realize that, and it will flip the interface around so that I can use it in its normal way. Okay, so again, I'll deal with it that it's upside down. So I'm going to go to Add Remote, or Add a Device. See, now it flips up. So now we'll say Samsung, and it goes and it loads different Samsung drivers, and there's about a gajillion of them. And the way that this works is the first button you have is the power button. So what you're supposed to do is point it at the TV and push the power button. Trying to keep my arm in frame. So put that. We'll give that a second. Okay. So once you do that and you find the right one, it says, did this code work? So you say yes. Now again, it knows that part, but it's still not sure about the other. So now it starts to walk you through other keys. So it says, okay, here's the volume key. Try that one out and see if that works. And again, I need to point it at it. And you can see, I'm trying to keep my arm in frame. Sorry, guys. But you got to point it right at the TV. The transmitter is not all that strong. So, okay, so that is the correct volume. Now, the next one it usually asks for is the mute. That's usually spot on. Let's turn the mute on and off. Let's make sure. There we go. Mute's coming on. Mute's coming on. Mute's coming off. There we go. Okay, so the mute is spot on. Then this is where I usually run into some trouble, because then it starts asking for keys like number 1. And my TV doesn't respond to a number 1. I mean, there's no number 1 for, nothing's going to happen if I push number 1. So I usually just accept that one. And then the next one that I do really care about is the menu. So I will check it to see if it has the right menu. And again, depending upon these units, these are not very powerful, so you can't be like miles and miles away. You saw I did get the menu to come up, so I'll go ahead and I'll select that. And now the channel up. And what it's trying to do is it's picking a couple of different, so let me get out of the menu. See, now that I'm in the menu, I probably can't do a channel up. So I'll have to get out of there manually and then see if you can see I am getting a response, but that's not necessarily the one that I want, but that's okay. I'm going to just go ahead and say, and then at that point it tells you what TV it thinks it is. Now, if you have your TV code, it's better to go in and click add and then put in your TV code so it knows exactly which one it is, so you don't have to go through that ridiculous process. However, this will now do what I need it to do, which is things like if I want to switch between switch inputs. As you can see, I now can switch between the inputs. And again, like I said, you got to keep that fairly close. Now again, as I said, this isn't a perfect solution. Unfortunately, if you need to use a remote, this unfortunately for us is our only solution. Now again, there are a couple of USB infrared pieces that will plug into it. They're a little bulkier. And even this, obviously, I'm not thrilled with. As I said, there are some out there that are just a little bit taller than the piece, and you put those in and you're fine. But you do still have the same going through this choosing of the keys. However, this will now that I've set it, I can at least use this to do the couple of things that I need it to do. And as I said, mostly I'll need it when I'm in a hotel room and I might need to hit the menu button, or I might want to switch the television input, or especially the menu. I'll leave a link for my how to hack a hotel television. And again, in that hotel television, you need to be able to hit certain keys. And so this will do that. So please subscribe, please hit the like button. And again, subscribe because obviously I'd like to have more subscribers. However, I'm also saying subscribe because when I come up with updates for a better unit, something that's a little bit better, or even a different application after I've tested, I will post that. Until then, this is the High Tech Nomad signing off.